So you may have seen the video I did, well, on Sunday morning about the bad service I had from a taxi driver in Guernsey. So this video is the follow-up on the responses I got. Now, I've got to tell you, I've done a lot of videos on this channel, and that video I did explaining about the poor service I received from a taxi company in Guernsey Saturday night, and by the way, if you haven't seen that, I'll leave the link in the description. Watch that first probably, then this video makes sense. As I said, the amount of videos I've done on this channel, that one video has had the biggest amount of comments, emails and messages I've ever had. So I've obviously hit a bit of a topic there which has sparked people's interests. So first of all, I want to say that I'm really pleased I did that video, because as a lot of people have said in the comments and the messages, they're really pleased I brought it up, because there's an issue and no one's called out the taxi drivers on it. So that's number one. Number two, I was absolutely horrified that it wasn't just me that had that issue. I had no idea so many people, and I've had a huge volume of people messaging me saying they've had very similar experiences. Taxis in Guernsey very late, not letting them know, taxis not turning up. I mean, what is going on, Guernsey? Come on, it's embarrassing. I've had a guy from Australia message me and said, yeah, didn't you know, Ross, Guernsey taxis are useless. That's someone from Australia. And I just thought, like, we Guernsey states spend how much money on advertising the island, and when people get here, they're treated appallingly by the taxi drivers. Now, I just want to add in something there. I've had a lot of messages from taxi drivers, okay? And you may think, which is what I thought, as soon as I saw a message from a taxi driver, I thought they're going to be standing up for the taxis, saying, no, Ross, you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what they said? They 100% agree with me. They said there's no excuse for a taxi to be running late and not take 20 seconds to call the customer and just tell them what's happening. We're running late, we're with you in 10 minutes. And this one taxi driver said to me, it's how you deal with the customer. You know, you can be forgiven for being 10 or 15 minutes late if you call the customer and explain. There's diversions, there's reasons. I know there's always reasons that taxis run late, okay? I get it. I'm in a job where I do drive around the island. I know you can run late. No excuse for not calling someone. Now, I had a very bad email, which was awful. A guy booked a taxi here in Guernsey for his elderly parents. The taxi was going to pick them up from a hotel here. They were quite elderly. They didn't really want to book a taxi. They're not very mobile. One of them was disabled, and the son booked a taxi to pick his parents up, take them to the airport from a hotel. And the guy was fuming. He said the taxi never even turned up. Never turned up. He said, I booked it, I had confirmation, and they never even turned up. And he said, my parents left there stranded. And this guy lives in the UK, and he said he'll never use that taxi company again. He said when he phoned them up, he did get through to them, and they said there'd been a mistake, and the taxi that was meant to pick him up is the taxi driver's day off. Well, how about letting the customer know, you bunch of idiots? Honestly. So I felt really sorry for that guy, and I apologised on behalf of Guernsey for him. And I said, I live in Guernsey and I'm embarrassed. So he said his parents were left with a very bad taste. It upset them because they were panicking, thinking they were going to lose their flight, miss their flight. And I told them I'd had a similar experience. Then I've had, honestly, the messages. I didn't know it was so bad. I just don't know what's going on. I don't know why. Is it because? And I've got to tell you something in a second, which you'll like to hear. Is it because there's a lot of work in Guernsey and taxi drivers just think, forget them, I'm going to go to the next job. Now, just a quick note on what happened Saturday night with me. a lady commented, and thank you if you're watching this video from the lady commenting. She commented saying underneath my last video where I spoke about the taxi not picking me up, she commented and said to me, "Oh, you're the guy that didn't answer the phone for the taxi driver. So thank you for not answering your phone, because I got picked up instead of you and I didn't have to queue in the taxi queue." I read it again and I thought, I didn't quite get what it meant. So she said, "Thank you for not answering your phone. I got picked up instead. And I didn't want to queue in the taxi rank for thanks." And it suddenly dawned on me that that taxi driver that was meant to pick me up, that was nearly half an hour late, must have picked someone else up and said to them, "Well, I'm here to pick someone up, but they're not answering their phone, so I'll give you a lift instead." But did the taxi driver fail to mention that she was nearly half an hour late for me, and that's why I didn't answer my phone, because I was already home, because I had to find alternative arrangements to get home? I wonder if the taxi driver told her that. Probably not. So this is my issue. I've got a feeling taxi drivers don't care if they're late, because their attitude is, Saturday night, if I'm late and the person's gone, I'll just find someone else to take home, so I get my money anyway. Is that what's going on, taxi drivers? Let me know. Be honest, let me know. Because if that is what's going on, it'll make sense. So when I saw that, I thought, oh, that's fine, because that taxi driver got paid. Even though it wasn't me, she just found someone else to take home. So who lost out there? The taxi driver? No. Or me? Yes, big time. What if I'd have been a young female left, stranded on a Saturday night, late at night, on the pier with no way to get home? Because it could have been. Luckily, I had to phone someone to come get me and they come out. Imagine being a young girl, having to I'm stranded in the middle of the night, I've got to walk on my own, you've left all your friends, you're stood in a pier waiting for a taxi, it doesn't turn up, then you've got to walk all the way to taxi rank on your own and wait another hour. Not good, is it? So, horrified would be a very good description of all the comments I've had. So it's not just me. So I don't know whether I know we've had a taxi crisis here in Guernsey, okay, and I know we've been short of taxi drivers, but is that an excuse not to turn up for people? Also, another reason, are the taxis booking people to be picked up, and are they squeezing other people in, which they shouldn't be, which is making them late? Basically, what I'm trying to find out is from this video is, and if you're a taxi driver, let me know in the comments, why do most taxis not turn up? Okay? Why do they just not bother turning up? Do they get to a stage where they're so late they think, actually, forget him, I'm not going to that one, I'm just going to go to the next one? Is that what they do? I mean, it's terrible either way, but is that? Because I wouldn't dream of just not picking someone up. I just think it's like, and the minimum you'd call them, wouldn't you? Minimum you'd call them. And also, the one Saturday night, she said she called me. She called me when she turned up, when she was mega late and I was already home. So that proves she did have my number. Or someone called me, whether it was the depot or her. Someone called me half an hour after they meant to arrive. So why couldn't they do that earlier? Then I'd have hung around for them. So there we go. But I just want to add into this that I have had messages from taxi drivers on our side saying that it is disgusting that taxis don't turn up, and in that situation they would always call the person. Okay, so for those taxi drivers, well done, and this isn't for you. I know there's some really good taxi drivers out there, and I've had one taxi driver actually say, "Ross, I'll be your taxi, so next time come and get me." The key is, a lot of people have said in the comments, actually what you need to do to really make sure you're going to get a taxi is to use the same taxi over and over again. So if you get good service from a taxi driver, take their card and use like one taxi person all the time, and you get to know them, and they're a lot more likely to turn up because you build up a bit of relationship. But I think if you just decide to choose some random taxi company, who knows? So maybe that's the key. Just find a taxi company or a taxi driver that you get on with or you know, and just use them. Just use them over and over again, and they will get the business. And the ones which don't bother turning up, as far as I'm concerned, they should go out of business, because they don't deserve to have any business, because it's just awful customer service. So that's where I am with it all. But let me know in the comments why you think taxis don't turn up and what the mindset is behind it. But as I say, I know there's some really good taxi drivers out there, but I don't want you all to get tied with the same brush, which is what is happening. You know, if someone has a bad experience with a taxi company in Guernsey and they go back to the UK to live, they're just going to say, oh, taxis are useless in Guernsey, they didn't pick me up. Unfortunately, that's what happens. You'll all get tied in the same brush. And I don't think it's fair for the good taxi drivers who are always on time and probably early for customers to get dragged down by these other people who don't give, other companies and other taxi drivers who don't seem to give a damn about customers. That's my concern. And why am I doing these videos? Why am I talking about this? It's so I want the system and I want the customer service and the bookings to improve with taxis. No one should have a taxi not turn up that's booked it and have no communication with them, not even been told what's happened, just don't turn up and that's it. That shouldn't be happening. So we need to improve that, and if things do not improve, and I keep getting messages, there's going to be another stage which I'm going to do, which the poor taxi drivers will not like. Trust me. See you next time.